everyone. I'm Claudia.
And I'm Luciana.
And this is Where We Land, a podcast about immigrating and multicultural identity. Before we begin, don't forget that you can send us your questions about the podcast, immigrating, or multicultural identity to wherewelandpod@gmail.com. So, who did we talk to today?
Today we spoke with Marianna De Luca, my friend and neighbor. Such a fun chat, and she's done so much in so little time, as you'll learn.
Let's dive right in.
I'm Mariana. I was born and raised in San Jose, Costa Rica. I'm the eldest of 3 siblings. I'm trained as a lawyer in Costa Rica. So, and I have practiced corporate law for over 10 years.
San Jose, Costa Rica. Can you give us what that looks like? You're born there. What do those early years of life look like? What is home? Like, who are you living with? Like, tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I am living. Home is my mom, my dad. They're still living together. And my younger brother, who is 5 years younger than me. So it was so much fun. So nice. I mean, I think our childhood was super nice. Playing around with our cousins and going a lot to the beach. So we had so much fun there.
Sounds very wholesome.
So you had a successful career, right, as a lawyer in Costa Rica. But then a girls' trip changed your life. Please tell us how so.
Literally a random weekend it was a very cold March. I remember it was March 2018. So we decided to travel. I had a friend that was living in Washington, D.C. I'm based in Washington, D.C. So I came to visit her and we decided to take a trip up to New York just for the weekend, have fun. 2 of my friends had lived in New York before, and they were the one that introduced me, my actual husband. It was just a night out, and it was fun. I never thought anything about it, but we had chemistry, and we started like talking, and it all started that way.
So you meet your future husband, Cupid shoots his arrow.
Sparks are flying.
But then you of course, you return. You're a successful lawyer in Costa Rica. So you return to Costa Rica.
Yeah.
And then I'm wondering how you navigate that, because it's
a long distance relationship.
For sure.
Right?
Yeah. And I don't think I was ready for that. I don't think I was up for that. I just bought an apartment and just moved into my new apartment. I was working in this firm for the past 10 years. I mean, my job was stable. My friends from life. This was not in my plans at all. And I just back up a little bit and see how things transition. And I think he did the first part at the beginning, right? He started with reaching out, and I just think that it was chemistry and it was destiny, and we just continued talking every single day, and we decided to do do some trips, right? I think that the second time after it, we visit Miami, and we met in Miami, and it was a nice weekend as well, and that was the plan, right? Just like trying to see how things will progress and visit each other, and it started that way.
What did your parents think about you dating someone who was living in New York?
They had no idea, of course.
Oh,
at the start, right at the beginning, I was just like trying to feel how things were gonna progress, and I mean, I remember the schedule was hard. Andrew was working at banking at the moment, and so his schedule was awful. And sometimes we have this 2-hour difference, so it wouldn't work it out very well. But I don't know. We continued talking, and when I decided to visit him first time, that was the moment I mentioned that to my parents.
Were they supportive when you told them, like, oh, and he lives in New York?
Well, I think they know me, right? And maybe they thought it was just like, this girl is gonna move overseas. If she wants something, she's gonna do whatever to be with this guy, right? So at the beginning, I think they were a little bit nervous, I guess. But I mean, at the end, it turns out perfectly, right? And I think they're happy, of course.
Right. They're like, we trust her. So how far in into this long distance relationship, did you decide, okay, like one of us has to move?
And I think it's going to be me.
Be me. Right.
Yeah. I think we started talking it about like 6 months after we started dating. It was like, okay, I moved in the whole summer. I moved to New York just like to see how how do I feel? I was still working remote for my employer. And I was like, let me think how I feel about this. And yeah, it was getting much better every day. And it was like, yeah, I can envision myself in moving, right? It's obviously was so much compromise from myself, of course, from my career. I'm licensed to practice law in Costa Rica only, right? So I'll have to figure out what I will do with my career going forward. That was a big one, of course. And it was just like so many things to get settled in my home country. So what are you going to do with an apartment? What are you going to do with this and that? But at the end, it was easy, right? There were no kids. There were no like real attachments other than family, of course.
Right. You're like, I can rent my apartment. I guess I guess the hardest part was probably, I'm assuming, the career.
Yeah, it's hard. Actually, it's hard for us lawyers. It's not easy. It's just like you basically change of career, or just you'll have to study for a long time to pass the bar and to see if you want to get into the pool with U.S. lawyers. It's not easy, right? For us especially. There's ways, I think, if you continue to do your career as I'm doing right now. But it's not easy.
It's not easy.
Sure.
Yeah. I'm wondering how you felt, because obviously you were going to New York for that summer to see how you felt within the relationship, if you actually wanted to move there. And obviously that got a green flag. But I'm wondering how you felt about New York, because a lot of immigrants before moving, they don't get to test out the city. So that's quite a privilege that you had.
Yeah.
How did you feel about New York those first 3 months when you were there?
I'm still in love with New York. I really miss it. It's New York every day. So it was perfect. New
York will do that to you. It's so cool.
I know. I'm still stuck to that place in my mind. It was easy. It was easy to transition. It was such a nice place to move in, and so much fun. We were singles at that moment. I was envisioned, so should I do my LLM that I've been looking into for years, and maybe this is the time to, right? It will be so cool to be as a student in New York and see how things. So yeah, for sure, it was an easy one.
And so you decide ultimately, I'm going to move and I'm going to study, right? That was the driver. So like you applied, got in, and moved the year after?
The year after, exactly. One year after, a little bit more than 1 year after we met.
And were you like in that move, just because, just curious, oh, I'm never coming back?
Or was it still like, I'm testing it?
I actually had this conversation, I remember perfectly, with my dad. It was before coming officially to start the master. I told my dad, I'm not coming back, right?
Oh,
that was,
oh, Dad.
Oh,
yeah.
My gosh. It's like, I'm going to study, get married, and have my life. It's over there.
And I really knew it. I knew it. And I poured my dad. Yeah, I destroyed him with that one. But I actually did.
But you know what? Better, like you let him know
in advance.
Hey, this is going to go down. Yeah. This is what's happening. Yeah. But yes, so hard to hear. Oh,
but I'm curious because you mentioned how you never envisioned your life outside of Costa Rica, right? That's where you were at when we started this conversation. You were like, I lived in Costa Rica my whole life. My entire family's there. Never planned on leaving it. And then you're sitting with your father being like, I'm going for a master's, but I'm not coming back, right? Was it the relationship? And that's like, Andrew's over there and I know that's where he's going to stay, so I have to be there? Or was there something else?
Maybe at that time, I think obviously my husband was the reason that I made that statement. But I have no idea all the things would come on right after that. But I don't know. It was something inside me that I knew. I knew that I wasn't coming back. Yeah, it was time for a new chapter in my life for sure.
I love that. I love this so much. This should be like a Valentine's episode, but
A Hallmark movie. Hallmark should make that movie.
So you move in 2019. What is that? Okay, like it's been so far, let's be honest too, honeymoon phase. You got 3 months in New York. No one gets mad at anyone.
And trips. No. Before that, you just had trips.
And you did trips. Like everything is like novel, you know, and so fun. But then you move in. And then you gotta go to school and do that. What was that like? Like, was New York everything? They're like, oh yes, this is exactly how I envisioned. Like, how was studying in another language? How was having classmates and like kind of making that sacrifice? Was like, of course, yes, you get to do an LLM, which is really like an amazing way to enter also the US market. But what are those challenges? What are the culture shocks? What do you experience in that first few months where you're studying?
It was different, obviously, because I have my, law school in Costa Rica was in Spanish. I learned law in Spanish. I worked some things in English and at my corporate job, but it was, applying and reading pages and pages and documents in English. So it was it got me a little bit more, of effort to keep it up. And it wasn't easy at the beginning, but I think then you catch up and it gets easier with time, right? Especially the second semester. The first semester is just a little bit harder, but it wasn't bad. I think it's just like to be really focused and on the classes. I just feel I was a little bit older than the average. And I had a partner. So I think I was getting advantage of the classes and the teachers and the overall academic experience, right? More than going at crazy parties and things like that. So I think I experienced like the more relaxed and just like dinners and going out, but more in the chiller way in New York. But I was able to experience, I think, both worlds, and it was fun. It was fun. It was fine, and I learned a lot. So I think
that's awesome. And it's great because also like your husband, who like, okay, you're living with him. He's also been in New York for a while at that point, right? Yeah. So he has presumably like a group of friends that is welcoming. Is that the case?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay,
that's the case.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. He worked a lot at that time, so it was seeing each other sometimes in the hallway, but it was fun. We're still young without kids, so at that time of life, it's easier. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that seems like a fun. Well, of course, that seems like a really fun way to like enter into a new city in a new country. It's like I'm going there, but I'm going there to move in with my boyfriend who already lives there and already has all these friends.
Yeah,
and I'm going with something to do every day. I'm not just going for him. I'm going to I'm going to go to classes. I have these teachers. I have to learn all this law in a new language. Like I'm going there with a purpose as well. Like if you're going to move, do it like that, guys. Do it with a boyfriend and, something to do. Yeah.
Because it's nice, like you come into his already built-in support system. You're not like two new people in a country that's foreign. You're like, oh, he's like, he knows this city well. Like, that's
that
nice.
was easy. Yeah, that was easy. Yeah. Apartment was settled. Didn't have to.
Exactly. Yeah, you never had to eat at a shitty restaurant. He already knew the good ones, You knew where to get coffee in the morning. Like, you were set. Yeah.
The basics, the most important things.
Of course.
You graduate, which is awesome. Like, yay, I'm done. And that was in 2020, right? You graduated in 2020. And 2020 was a hard year for everyone. It was a year for everyone, March 2020. But it was a year that brought a lot of change for you. You graduate. Yes. You get engaged, you become pregnant with your first child, you get married, and you move cities.
Oh my God. Yes. Oh my God. That sounds like 5 years. That sounds like 5 years worth of things.
All during the COVID pandemic, ladies and gentlemen. So like that is...
Yeah, I think we kind of bored and needed some action because we were just like stuck in an apartment, in one bedroom apartment in Manhattan. So yeah, we decided just do stuff, right?
Right. You were at the epicenter of the COVID pandemic for the United States.
Oh,
That
gosh,
was
yeah.
the epicenter,
it
right?
was scary. And I was pregnant
Yeah.
with my first child. So it was just like even scarier, right?
Okay, but wait. Tell me the sequence of it, because Luciana just listed like 5 different things that you did. Tell me the sequence of events. How did it actually all go down?
So I think COVID started just say March around that. Yeah, that I think
Yeah.
you're right. And naturally, I think we're getting closer to our finals in the master. And from one moment to another, they just decided to switch our online of our presence classes to online. And actually, I think all my finals were online. I didn't have a graduation ceremony. And yeah, from one week to another, we were just like stuck in our apartments, just like trying to survive and to navigate what an awful pandemic was. We got engaged around March, at the end of March. And then we got married in May 2020. Yeah. In our apartment in Manhattan. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm right. Everyone had like no weddings were going to be planned in the foreseeable future. So you guys were like, the pandemic is here, the world may be ending. Let's just go.
Exactly.
Wait, so you got married?
Fear.
You got married, just the 2 of you in your apartment,
and my brother-in-law, my sister-in-law. Yeah, we
they were also in your apartment. Oh, okay.
Yes, they visited from DC. They went up.
Oh, that's so nice
yeah.
that you actually had people there physically present.
Yeah.
And then do you decide to move to DC? Well, I'm assuming that was already kind of in the works.
Actually not.
No. Okay.
Andrew stayed working for that same employer for several months. And I remember it was around November of 2020 that he got an offer from another firm. So we were like, so should we just move now you're 30 weeks pregnant and have the baby down in DC, or should we just stay and wait? It was the worst of a pandemic. And I remember that the company, the new employer told Andrew, I mean, you could stay longer if you want some months. I mean, we're all working online, right? So we could have chosen to stay a little bit longer in New York, but it was like, there's no one here, no family. Let's go a little bit closer from family. I'm saying family because Andrew's family live here. His mom and dad and also
in
his brother.
DC.
In
Oh,
DC,
okay.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes sense, right? To move a little closer.
Yeah, especially in the pandemic. You're like, what? You want me to stay away from No, if I can move closer to family, let me move closer to family.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we just decided to move. We move January, at the end of January 2021. Yeah. Couple months before my first son was
Oh my God,
was
you
born.
moved homes. You moved cities
crazy.
pregnant.
Yeah, we have to change
During the
insurance.
pandemic.
We have to change insurance. We have to change doctors. All of
Oh
it.
my God, I didn't even think of that. You had to choose new.
disaster. No, of course. It was awful.
And honestly, like in a country that isn't your own, like in a place that is really not familiar to you, that's hard. I mean, thank God Andrew is from here.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to a home base. I mean, it makes total sense to go back to have a support system. You're about to welcome your first child. I'm so glad you guys moved because we got to meet. I'm wondering, like, with all of these changes, is there ever a part that you're like, oh, like, obviously Andrew's the right person, but would Costa Rica be easier?
Yeah.
Should I not? Yeah.
Yeah, I think about it a lot, like weekly.
Oh, yeah. Still, I thought about it this morning.
Yeah, for sure. And I can see my friends, right? I have a big group of friends from high school, and we kind of have kids similar ages, and you have people there, extra hands to help, right? So I think in the stage where my children are small and they need full-time attention, having extra hands, having someone to help you with all things around in house is amazing, right? So yeah, it would be easier. But on the other hand, I always think that the connection and that relationship I have with my husband, with my children here by ourselves, and somehow I couldn't see that happening down there, right? With so many help and so many, it force us to be just like so united, right? And so yeah, that's that. And I think that has a lot of value, and I know that will be, that'll be important for the future for them and growing up, being so close, right? And so I try to see the good things, right? And the challenges. And for sure, it's a challenge being far away from the family and from this help, right? Or this assistance that you can have down there. But yeah, I get the benefits some other how.
Yeah, yeah. I understand that. I think it's similar in a lot of, it's definitely similar to Peru, where I think the family unit is different, right? Like over there, it's extended family. That's part of your family unit. Like all the cousins and the aunts and they're constantly around. Therefore, you do have a lot of help.
Even close friends.
And even close friends are just very much like they're over and they're helping and everyone's helping everyone's in everyone's business. But then that also means that since that family unit is so large, you don't really get that separation, privacy, and deep connection of the nuclear family that you do have. I think in the United States, that is very prominent. Like the nuclear family is very together. It's very much one little cohesive, supportive unit. There's a lot of connection between parents and kids directly and specifically. That doesn't really happen so much in Peru, at least. How we grew up, it wasn't like that. It was much more dispersed. But because there was just so many people all the time. You mentioned that you did eventually in DC get back into your career after giving birth and everything. So tell me about that. How did that happen? How did you find that? And what was it like before? Did you ever worry that you're like, I'm fresh out of my master's program, moved to a different city because I like making life hard for myself. And then, had my child, and then eventually you have to get back. You have to get into the American workforce for the first time. So was it daunting? Was it scary? Were you always confident you were going to do it?
For sure. No, I wasn't. I knew I would do something. I wasn't sure it was something I was going to love or had like a special connection, but I was willing to try, right? But of course I was a little bit scared because it was going to be new. It's going to be very different. And I have no idea what is going to be, right? One thing I was sure I didn't want to practice law in a law firm. I was worried about the amount of hours working. Yeah. and I really wanted to spend time with my family. So that was a thing, right? So that created a lot of challenges, right? To looking into work. So yeah, then this opportunity happened. I think my son was like 3 months old actually when they someone I know contact me. There was the one in consultancy. It was like 6 months consultancy. And then and a multilateral organization here in DC. So I was like, let's go for it. I was going to do legal work, but they didn't require my like bar exam, like being able to practice law here. So I was still going to do legal work, right? Right. So I tried it. I really like it, and I'm still working at the same place. So it's a great place to work in for sure, and it's very DC. I think it's very DC, and it has a mission, and I like that I'm doing work with value and a mission of helping the region where I come from, where we all are, and so that makes even more interesting and with sentimental value, of course.
How did that fit into then settling into DC more? Did that help? I'm assuming for like sure. Getting a job, you get to see other people, you get to meet people.
For sure. Yeah. I think it was easier, right? It was like a big door opened. Also at the moment my son was very young. I hadn't been working for almost a year because I was pregnant and we were living in New York at that time, and the pandemic was so obviously creating a lot of challenges in the job market. But yeah, I think it was a big door that opened professionally, and yeah, it was for sure. It helped me like to get settled, to feel a little bit more home, something more permanent, right? Because at that moment, it was so many changes. It's like coming to New York, doing the master, then COVID, and then getting pregnant, and then moving here. It was like, where's home? I need to settle, right? I need a job. I need an income. I need something of mine, right? Something that I can feel like I'm back into me. So it was definitely that for me.
And I'm assuming also like the longing for a sense of community too, because like obviously Costa Rica, we've talked about how the similarities with Peru and how you are growing up in this tight community with your friends from high school and your cousins and your family. Then you go to a university where everyone's a lot younger. So you have your partner.
Lucy, I said a little younger, not a lot.
I know. She's like, so you were old. What? You were old? Okay.
A little, Lucy, a little.
Sorry, a little. Just a few months younger, but you know, they were in a different stage of life because they weren't, you know, with the partner. And so, you know, and then the pandemic, which made everybody feel isolated. Everybody's like, we can't hang anymore. So that was a universal thing. And then motherhood, which can be quite isolating if you do not have a support system. So I'm assuming that is a lot of solo time or partner time, but like just not a lot of like, where are my friendships? Where's my space? Where is my thing? So work presumably was the first big door for that. And what about the friend that introduced you and Andrew though? The one that you came to visit for TC, does she still live here?
No, she's back in Costa Rica.
What?
Yeah. It was destiny. She needed to be here to make
just for that time.
Yeah, she's back in
and then
Costa
she's
Rica.
like, I did it. I'm out. Okay. Okay. All right. But yes, I mean, an opportunity to build community, to build like your circle of support group and community and all of that.
That's something that we talk about with all of our guests because all of them talk about how hard it is to find their people when they first move to the United States because they're like, oh my gosh, everyone's here's like so different. I don't know. And making friends is so hard here. And everyone has a different way to do it. Like we've heard stories, like some people are like, remember someone told us like her dad joined a church, even though he wasn't religious, just because he wanted to meet people. Like people do go about it all different ways. So what are some of the things that you've done to try to like, I don't know, just make some friends, get out there?
We've talked about going to networking events.
Oh my God. Luciana went to networking events. There you go.
Actually, there's an app to make friends, like girlfriends, you know?
Oh, really?
So you can have some certain filters if you want to, for example, mothers with kids of certain age, so you can meet at the park or you're interested in specific areas, you can do that. So, but I didn't try that. I think it's a good idea. I was almost ready to do that, but yeah, it was a lot of time. I didn't have the moment. But I think from work, it's been easier. Where I work is very diverse. So I think I have made nice connections there. I think DC, similar to New York, is a very transient city. So sometimes people, you know, come and go. So I think that's a little bit trickier, in this kind of cities. But yeah, I think from school, from playground and from activities of the kids, you are able to get some certain connections, but it's not been easy, to be honest. I think creating these new connections as an adult, I don't think it's easy for everyone, right? Especially when I have had this old friendships that I grew up with, right? Actually, I still have friends from primary. And it was so organic. You didn't think about it. Just like it happened, right? So now as an adult in a different place, it's not easy. And to make connections, you don't have so many things in common, right? With regular people. So you have to pick and choose and be open and to be mindful and to put effort on it. I think that's the different part of.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it's definitely a hustle.
Yeah.
I think that like, the apps part actually doesn't surprise me because I do think I've heard a couple friends use it to make friends. When I was here, like, I think you and I have talked about this a bunch, like, you know, but yeah, for me, it was like, I was very intentional about building that because I was like, oh my gosh, if this is going to be my home forever, I really have to try. For when I became pregnant with my first son, I joined a group. It's called PACE here in DC, and it connects you with moms that are going to give birth in the same month as you. So I joined, like, and
that's really helpful.
Shout out PACE because it's a big thing here in DC. I actually had dinner with our kids are 4. They're all born in September. And I had dinner with these group of girls last Friday. And it was like, it's our 4th year as friends. And it's been because when your son is born and they're 3 weeks old and you're up in the middle of the night and the poop is a certain color, who are you going to text at 3 a.m. to ask them, is this normal? Shout out PACE. We had the questions that were asked in that first year of life.
I mean, yeah, because they're all up at 3 a.m., you know?
Yeah. And like, as you know, Mariana, like, you kind of forget what happens in the week 3 or week 4 when your kid is 3. You don't remember, right? But these people are in it with you. I mean, and you can do it with ChatGPT for sure. But isn't it so nice when you feel that other people, and like you say, like, yeah, let's meet up at the park at 9 a.m. because who's at the park at 9 a.m.?
Just us. Just people with newborns. Yep.
Newborns and moms, you know, and it is such a lovely, it was really a lovely group. Someone floated the idea to me and I was like, this is too foreign, but you know what? I'm in a foreign land. I'm going to try foreign things. And you just never know. You surprise yourself, you know? And so I think that what you're saying is true. Like, we just have to embrace the unknown and give it a shot. Some things are going to stick. Some things are not. Right. And yeah. And then all of a sudden you meet a really nice neighbor. Like,
I know.
I met Mariana. And that was
so
like,
how did you meet Luciana then?
oh my gosh.
Through our nannies. Actually, through our nannies.
Are you kidding me?
The matchmakers.
They set you guys up?
Yeah,
that's adorable.
It was so cute.
Yeah.
It really was. It really was. Yeah, that's the truth. Our kids would play at the park, you know, and the nannies would tell us, like, it happened to be that our kids are the exact same age. Like, how could you even plan it? You know, like, it's like we planned it. We have boys that are, you know, a few months apart and girls that are a couple months apart. You would have never. Yeah.
And so your nanny came home one day and she was like, there's these kids that your children like.
Exactly. We'd be playing for months with them. Maybe you should met the mom. No, actually, I remember my nanny mentioned, I think their mom is from Peru. And I was like, cha-cha-cha-ching.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, it was like, wow. Yeah. So maybe there's someone from Latin America here in the neighborhood. So I will have to definitely check it out. And yeah. Yeah.
That's exactly right. I got the same memo that I was like, oh, it's a mom. They told me she's a doctor from Costa Rica. And I was like, okay. Yeah.
A doctor of law.
Yes, a doctor of law. And I was like, okay, like, you know, so some facts were there and I was like, okay, great. Like, we'll definitely meet. Yeah. And then we did. And there you go. So like, it is like, I mean, yeah, neighbors, some people have told us, yeah, like the networking thing, I did it. Other people like church, whatever, community events, like whatever it is, because it is a hustle. And I think, like you say, in transient cities, even harder because people are just.
They leave. Yeah.
They live.
Yeah.
Like your friend who set you up and abandoned you. Yeah.
Yeah.
She did.
We talk a lot about like culture clash too. So are there any aspects of American culture that you still clash with today that you're like, oh my gosh, like I can't?
I think that one of the first one was the punctuality in like social gatherings, like at home. It's like at 8 p.m. we'll invite you here. It's so formal. And I remember it crashing in my head. And my husband is so sharp. With the schedules, right? And it was like, in Costa Rica, if they invite you at 8, people start getting at 9:30, 10. It's just like a whole life thing, right? So for me, it's like, no, we actually need to take in account to go from point A to point B and be there at 8. So maybe it's like, wow, I haven't experimented this before, and it's still sometimes a little bit shocking. And I think it's been a challenge, but I'm better at it. I'm getting better.
But you know what the funny thing is you get better at it. You incorporated it into your life. It becomes a part of you now, especially I'm assuming since you have kids, you know, like they have a birthday party, like now you're like being this on time person. And then what happens when you visit Costa Rica? Are you on time there? No, it would be like,
no,
what are we doing? We're reverting. We're reverting back. Have you accidentally been on time in Costa Rica and just been like,
sure.
oh my gosh.
It feels weird. It's just like, people look like you. Yeah, no.
This is what I'm saying.
Nobody's here. Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. This is what happens. You like, it changes, like some American thing gets in you and you're like, you change your ways because that's how they operate here. And then you go back home and you're like, why am I behaving like an American?
Yeah.
What am I doing?
Exactly. Or maybe dinner at 6:30. It was something like, how people do this. And now it's perfect.
I still can't do it.
Perfect because...
That's the kids, Mariana. That's the kids.
Yeah, that's the kids. I'm a childless lady, so I still can't do it. I still can't do it.
Yeah.
I can't eat. What am I eating? What for? My stomach isn't hungry. I just had lunch at 2.
It is if you've had lunch at 12. You just got to get on the kids' schedule.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's what happens.
It's easier for everyone. All right. So we have one question that we ask everyone, and it is, what would you say your main cultural identities are at the moment? Do you feel American, Costa Rican, Latina, Central American, something else?
We have a big mixture at home. That's the thing, right? I mean, for sure in Costa Rican, 100%. I mean, I completely, no question asked. But, right, my husband is half Argentinian and half Peruvian. And we have the Costa Rican and the mixed, right? So we have asado like every week, but we like to mix in el gallo pinto. So I don't know. I think we're a very Latin culture in this house. But yeah, I'm still feel Costa Rican. I've definitely feel that some of maybe how I think and I've been forced because of my children, I think, to be a little bit more American. I feel they dragged me a little bit. But yeah, I think we are mostly, or I am still mostly very Latina.
Right.
For sure.
Right.
And I like that. And I like
Yeah.
For
But
sure.
I like how you're like, you've incorporated some of like your husband's Latinness as well. And you're like, you know what? Just general Latina. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we always end our interviews with this question, which is, do you have a favorite word or a phrase in your native language that either has no translation to English, or maybe it does have a translation to English, but it just sounds better in Spanish, like you prefer it in Spanish? It's just
like you want to say it in Spanish.
Yeah, it means something slightly more different. Your favorite word or phrase in your native language.
Actually, I was laughing with my daughter that I teach her a word today. It was a chancletazo.
Oh my gosh.
I know. I
didn't, a word for a mother to teach her daughter. It's necessary.
I didn't chanclete her, but I introduced that word to her. And it was so funny to hear Martina say the word chancletazo. I don't know, not at all. We speak Spanish at home, so I think that's good in the sense that my children are learning Spanish very young, and we try to speak Spanish. So I don't know. There's so many. Let me think about
Mariana,
one.
For the listener, can you explain what
is chancletazo?
Look it up. But I really want you to explain it.
Especially, I'm curious, how did you explain it to your daughter? Was it like, so this is something that I will do to you if you ever misbehave? Like, what?
I would never. I don't know. I think we were playing it, and it's a funny word, and hearing her say that word in his like little mouth, it was so hilarious. It was fun.
So for the listener who, if you don't speak Spanish, chancletazo is basically when an older Latin American woman removes her shoe.
The flip-flop. Actually,
It comes from flip-flop.
Flip-flop.
But you know what?
Yeah.
I've seen women do it with all kinds of shoes, no matter what shoe they're wearing. And we still call it
But it's la
chancletazo. We still
chancleta.
call it chancletazo.
Thank you.
No matter what shoe it is. But yeah, usually she removes her flip-flop and tries to, but the kid usually runs away. Like
Exactly.
smack her misbehaving young child across the face because they just did something they weren't supposed to do. That's chancletazo. We all grew up knowing what it was and knowing that even though our mother she would never remove her shoe from anywhere, like no matter the situation. And yet I knew what a chancletazo was, and I knew that it could happen to me.
Okay.
I knew as a child, maybe not my mom, but you know what? If I'm misbehaving around some old lady, maybe she whips out her shoe.
It's a threat. It's definitely
It's a threat among. If you're around any older lady, Latin American lady,
Yeah. But it's culturally accepted. So,
yes,
no,
yeah.
for sure.
Yes.
No one will bat an eye. Everyone will be like, "Yeah, that's right.
You deserve it.
She did what needed to be done."
Bueno, Mariana, thank you so much. This was so
course.
fun.
It was.
Always.
Okay, so how did this conversation land for you?
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you finally got to meet Mariana.
I know.
It was really nice. I mean, I obviously knew a lot of the story, but I was just, really surprised to kind of see the timeline of how just everything got cramped into like a year and a half. That's wild. Like the year that I got married, that was the biggest thing I did. I got married, right? The following year, I moved. The year I had a baby, that's all. I had a baby. Like to combine all those
I feel
events.
like that's most people. Most people is like you have one big event a year.
I mean, so maybe like two things, but what I'm getting at is like, no, she like life altering things that were just all crammed into it. And I was like, and to be honest, like every time that I've seen her, she just looks very composed and like her life, it like very planned out and everything pulled together. They have a lovely family. Like I've never seen her frazzled or like overwhelmed with like where she is. And like, not at all. It almost feels like they've been together for like 10 years and like have done things very gradually. So that's really nice. And I think it speaks volumes as to, who they are.
To their relationship. Yeah. I
Yeah.
think even the way she was telling it, she was like, oh yeah, this, and that, like everything made perfect logical sense. Even the way she went about the relationship, which was, albeit like the longest stretch, then she took her time, really vetted it out. She's like, it's a long distance relationship. We're going to meet here and then try and see how we feel.
Yeah.
And then, okay, I'll go, but I'll go for my master's, not just to be with him. Let's feel it out. And then all of a sudden it was like the pandemic. And you know what I think it is? In the pandemic, there was two types of people. There were the people that are like, it's the pandemic. Nothing matters. I'm not doing anything, like literally did nothing. And then there was people that like, oh, during the pandemic, I learned a language and I learned to crochet and I learned how to paint. They are the second type of people.
Right.
They were like,
right.
it's the pandemic. Let's get married. Let's get pregnant. Let's move cities. Let's find new jobs.
Let's do all of the things. Yeah. Her conviction about the relationship really resonated with me because I think I felt similarly about mine. Like mine was on a faster timeline. We got married a year after meeting, so it was like that. But I think that it's kind of like when you know, and when you don't. Like I really.
Do you think there's also something to the pressure cookerness? Because you didn't have a global pandemic during your engagement/marriage, but do you think there's something to the pressure cooker of like being an immigrant? Of like, we gotta decide. She was literally in Costa Rica, and it was like, if we're gonna be together, I have to move. So is this serious or not? Like, I think
there is this push, but like I think that it just like pushes something that's gonna happen. Like if it's not your person, it's not. Like
yeah, but that's what I mean. I'm not saying like it forces you something into something you don't want. I'm saying like it just makes you make the decisions. Like if it's gonna be no, it's gonna be no.
Exactly. Like I think like if the answer, like I think my husband put it in one way, like he said, like if the answer is no right now, it's no forever.
Damn.
Yeah. like it's like if we can't make this decision now, what would change in 3 years?
Well, yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And I was
very,
like,
very
facts. Facts. Also love that. Love that. You know,
Yeah.
it was like my ring finger is right here, which I'm just looking. I'm not wearing my
It's
ring.
missing a rock. Let's go.
I think I left it in my kid's like bathroom. Anyway, but that's the thing. Like, it is very much a, you know, just like, this is, you're faced with like, you have to make this decision. And I think for a lot of people, it doesn't go that way. But like, when it does, it's great. And like, I think, you know, you really, like, I was fully like, this is happening, whether it's now, whether it's in 3 years, this is happening, you know?
Yeah. So you go on that ride. Yeah.
I also think, you know, we've talked about community. I've talked about that with Mariana a bunch of times offline, and like, it was so nice to bring it up here, because it is like such a big thing that we talk about here. It's hard. It's hard to go out of your way to do really foreign things, or things that feel really foreign to you, to build community. It's something that like you take for granted in your country of origin, because it's just there. You're just born into it. And here you really have to hustle. And it feels like, she's like, I was about to go on an app. That must feel like such a big thing, a risk, like, what am I doing? But honestly, yeah, just embrace it. Like, for all the listeners, embrace it. Go on the app, go to the networking event, join the running group, whatever it is that is going to connect you to your people, because it is harder to do as an adult. As Mariana said, it is harder.
Yeah.
And you just really have to hustle. And again, for moms, like, there is all of these information that we know about how isolating motherhood can be, especially like moms of very, very like new moms of young children. And I think these groups, like, again, like I said, PACE in DC or whatever, like whatever mom groups exist out there, like, that's one good thing about like the internet and / social media, that it does help you connect to other people that are in the same boat, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I think, I don't know if it's particular to Latin America or not, but I think there is this, because in Latin America, community is so important to us. And like, you are born into a community in Latin America, like right off the bat. It's not just you and your parents. Like, from day one, it is you and your parents and your cousins. Like, I have pictures of not even being 1 year old, and it's like, I'm surrounded by a ton of other babies, and they're all relatives or friends, like sons and daughters of my mom's friends.
Yeah.
And it's like that from the jump, and it never stops. Like, you have all these people that, you know, all these friends from very, very little. And like, people you went to like kindergarten with, but also people just from like your neighborhood, like people from our beach town that I didn't go to school with or anything, but they were just the neighbors. And because we're so community focused in Latin America, they are your friends as well. And so there's this effortlessness almost to making friends, I think, in Peru specifically when we were growing up. And there is a shift when you move to a country like the United States where that doesn't happen. Like, you don't automatically get friends just because you live in this neighborhood. Yeah. And you don't like that just, it did happen in Peru. Like, we lived in this, if you move to our beach town, you're going to meet everyone that lives there, and they're all going to become like, you're going to make friends. Here, that doesn't really happen. You don't just move somewhere and it's like, oh, we're all friends now. So
no, not at all.
It does get, not only does it get really hard, but what I'm also noticing is that because of our culture, we weren't really taught those skills of like, how do you make friends here if it's not automatic? If there isn't like a community of people waiting to be like, oh, you're the new person. Because it comes along with a lot of gossip as well in Peru of like, oh, who's the new person? Let's go meet her. Let's go see where she's from. And da-da-da, you know? And here that doesn't exist. Here you just move and people are like, no one maybe even notices. Like, no one even sends an email to like you know, like rarely, only in some special, like more like private communities or whatever. So I think there's also a lacking skill set. Of like,
I mean, if it's not a skill you need over there, like why, right? And I think it just again, like, I think it's about just the size of the country too. Here, it's such a huge country. Moving cities is like basically moving, like San Francisco to New York is basically like moving countries in Latin America.
It's another continent, yeah.
This is a skill that is very present and much needed here. Versus Peru, where there's just like not a lot of mobility. Like you'll maybe move to one city in your whole life. That's it. And probably know a handful of people over there already. Right. So it is a thing. And it's just, something that you really have to learn and get comfortable with real fast when you move abroad. I do just want to also say finally, like what Marianna talked about, her connection and family unit. Her connection with her husband and family unit here versus Peru, because you and I had discussed this, I think on our first episode, we gave some background. We got to experience both. We got to experience our family unit of 6 people in Visalia, California.
Yeah.
And it was lovely because it really fun. Is ride or die with this 6 people. There are literally no other, like there's not another single person in your home that can help out. It's just, so the 6 of you, or the 6 of us, felt accountable, connected, in sync. We were the unit. We were the support system, full stop.
Also,
right?
you felt like you didn't need anyone else. The feeling that it gave us was that, like, it doesn't matter where we are as long as it's the 6 of us. If it's the 6 of us, we're home, we're fine.
And I do love that I get to do that with my kids here. The trade-offs are less help, less opportunities to connect on a frequent basis with family because let's be honest, we'd probably be seeing them on a weekly basis. So that's nice, but also moves your attention to other commitments, to other social commitments, to being there for other family members. That takes away from being there for your family. That takes away time from your kids. So that is a trade-off. And in this point in my life, I 1000% pick this way. Because I just remember what it did for us as a family when we were little. And I love that is our life here. Like that, like I just remember how lovely it was as a child. I think it was pretty lovely for our parents too. But as a child, it was really nice. So
yeah, I think you feel so connected to that way of living because it is how we grew up. You know? Yeah. So it's not like this foreign thing. No, that you're like experimenting for the first time. You've lived it before. Yeah. Yeah. It requires both adults to be very present, very active, present parents. Not that improve means like that can't exist, but it just feels like it's not maybe the norm, expected as necessary because you have so many other hands that are willing to help. Yeah, there's so many other adults. Like I said earlier in the episode, if your mom isn't willing to give you the chancletazo, your aunt will. There's so many parents around parenting you.
Yeah. That wraps it up for today. You can support us by subscribing to our YouTube channel and leaving us a 5-star review on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Ciao, ciao.
Hasta la vista, babies. At Where We Land, we know that some immigrant experiences are harder than others, especially for those in the margins of our current legal system. So if you would like to help, we encourage you to support organizations that provide services for immigrants and champion their rights. You can find a list of organizations in the show notes.